I know that just about everybody has made a video about this already, but dang it, I'm gonna do it anyway. In this video, I'll be ranking all the current Helluva Boss episodes, from Murder Family to Oops. Listen, I love this series. It has endearing characters, fun storylines, astounding animation, and great comedic timing. But just like any other show, the quality of episodes can vary pretty drastically. Some are genuinely fantastic, and some, well, they leave a lot to be desired. I just want to give my 2 cents in the hopes that this series learns from its mistakes and reaches its true potential. By the way, these are all my opinions. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, and that's okay. If you think I should have ranked an episode higher or lower, please tell me in the comments. Also, I'm not including the pilot episode. I think that's a given. That being said, let's start with the most underwhelming episode. Given how long we waited for the season 1 finale, I was really expecting more from this one. Don't get me wrong, Kesha does a great job as Beelzebub, and the song and animation are really great, but I feel like that's all this episode has to offer. Like, there's no story here. I feel like the start of the episode was trying to be about Luna, but then it suddenly does a 180 and becomes all about Blitz and his drama. It really feels disconnected and jumbled. So even if it was trying to say something about Luna and Blitz's relationship, it kind of gets lost in translation. I don't know, there was just nothing super memorable about this episode in general. Outside of the musical number, I don't see a need to revisit this one. It's not that this episode was particularly bad, it was just really hard to take seriously. None of the characters were given anything interesting to do. Like, Blitz being mistaken for Brandon is funny and all, but it takes up way too much of the episode. And then Blitz gets weirdly attached to the sitcom dog, and meanwhile Moxie's screwing around buying a bunch of crap from street artists, and... well, do you see what I mean about this episode being hard to take seriously? It's just too all over the place. Though I do like how they try to draw parallels between Luna and Octavia's relationships with their dads, and the heart-to-heart they have at the end is really sweet and all, but the rest of the episode kinda soils it for me. I don't know. At least this one had a plot, I guess. I think this might be the most heavily critiqued Helluva Boss episode, and yeah, I can see why. Let's address the elephant in the room here. Moxie and Millie's conflict feels really forced. Like, I can believe Moxie being stubborn and wanting to finish the job his way, but am I really supposed to believe that Millie feels so underappreciated that she basically abandons Moxie to go perform for a bunch of preteens? I mean, it would make more sense if we had seen examples of her feeling underappreciated before, but this just really seems out of left field. But other than that, it's a pretty decent episode actually. Moxie and Millie are still super cute together, and the battle at the end was really fun to watch. Plus, Barbie's introduction sets up a lot of intrigue about her broken relationship with Blitz, and I look forward to seeing more of her in the future. This episode is a bit of a paradox for me. Like, I want to like it because it finally returns to Stella's assassination plot from season 1, and has Stryker in it, and Stryker's epic, but at the same time, it feels like nothing significant happened at all. I mean, Stolas getting kidnapped and hospitalized should have a bigger impact on the plot, but nothing really comes of it. Yeah, this episode really had a chance to advance Blitz and Stolas' relationship, and they wasted it. And not to mention the B-plot with Luna is just completely pointless. But hey, it's still several steps above Unhappy Campers. The action was incredible, and seeing Moxie and Millie get revenge on Stryker was super satisfying. It's just a shame I don't have more good things to say about this episode. All things considered, I think Helluva Boss had a pretty good first episode. It did a great job at establishing the story, the characters, and even some parts of the world building. And the Murder Family are also really entertaining villains. It's short, it's sweet, it's got lots of Moxie in it, and it just consistently makes me laugh. For a first episode, I'd say it did its job pretty well. Before we continue, let's just agree on one thing real quick. Baby Stolas is the cutest thing ever. Now that that's out of the way, I really enjoyed this one. Stolas is such a fascinating and layered character, and seeing all the events that led to his and Blitz's deal was really nice. It really made me feel for him, how he was forced into a marriage he never wanted, and all his efforts to make it work were ultimately useless. It's really kind of tragic. But the real highlight here is the ending. First of all, Bryce Pinkham's singing, angelic. Second, the ending scene is extremely well done. Stolas standing up to Stella is long overdue, and the fact that we see its effects as the season continues is even better. Yeah, this episode is just really fun. I love watching the Imp team running around and trying to protect Stolas. I love watching Blitz and RoboFizz burn the whole circus down, which, looking back, was totally foreshadowing for Oops. That's freaking genius. And even more, I love seeing the effects of Stolas and Blitz's relationship on Octavia, and how it drives them apart. It felt very real, raw, and kind of heartbreaking. And again, Bryce Pinkham singing is amazing. So yeah, I really like this one. Come on guys, it's Veronica. What else can I say? Everything about her is iconic, including this episode. Not only is she a great villain, a great singer, and really fine, she has enough complexity to be a potential major player in the series later on. But non-Veronica related things that make this great. The comedy, the antics, the action, and they all combine to make one super fun episode. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go listen to Vacate to Bonetown for the 10th time today. I know everybody is gonna hate me for ranking this one so high, but this is my list and dang it, I can do what I want. I feel like everybody gives Cherub a hard time because it didn't do anything significant plot-wise, and yeah, that may be true, but hear me out. This episode is hilarious, probably the funniest of the series, second only to number 1, but we're not there yet. My favorite moment is when the Cherubs snap and they have the battle in the opera house. It's all mwah, comedy gold. I don't care if it's filler, it's good filler. And if you wrote this episode off when it first came out, I encourage you to give it another try. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Before Oops, I know a lot of people claimed this as their favorite episode, and yeah, I don't blame them. The music, the colors, the smooth animation, and the emotional moments are all stunning from beginning to end. It highlighted the biggest issue between Stolas and Blitz's relationship, giving us even more reason to want to see them move past their problems and get together. But I'm just gonna be frank here, this episode has no plot, like at all. Blitz stalks Eminem, he calls Stolas, they get bullied by Fizz and Ozzy, they leave. There's no conflict that drives the story. It's just a series of events that happen. Maybe if it had more of a story, and the Queen Bee episode actually connected with this one, then maybe it would be ranked higher up. Now this is how you do a Moxie and Millie episode. Unhappy campers, take notes. The difference here is that the conflict isn't contrived at all. It's a very natural extension of Moxie's character to want to be respected by his in-laws. And while Millie's parents and Stryker threaten to get between Eminem, their relationship actually becomes stronger as a result. And just like in Western Energy, I love watching them beat the crap out of Stryker. That jerk deserves it. Oh, and by the way, this is the best Stryker episode, because he actually feels threatening in this one. And in my heart, nobody can replace Norman Reedus. He's too perfect. Did I mention how much I love Moxie as a character? Yeah, he's like my spirit animal. Needless to say, when he got his own episode, it quickly became one of my favorites. And not just because it has Moxie in it. The drama in this episode is stellar. Moxie's backstory genuinely gives me chills from how tragic it was, and watching him grow more and more hopeless in the fight against his dad's abuse kinda broke me. The fight scene is also grotesquely entertaining, with Millie taking the lead for once and giving these creeps their comeuppance. It's a shame she didn't just kill Crimson while she was at it. He freaking deserved it. And speaking of characters who died and deserved it, yeah, Chaz was a jerk, and he had to go. But dang it, he was hilarious. Man, just talking about this episode is making me want to watch it again. If I had to point to an episode that perfectly encapsulates everything I love about Helluva Boss, I'd point to Truth Seekers. It's just that good. The humor, on point. The dream sequences, beautifully haunting. And that downright glorious fight scene, it's freaking iconic. Like, come on. Giving each of these characters a chance to shine while they work together to completely brutalize the villains. What more could I possibly ask for? I love Truth Seekers from the bottom of my heart. But there's one episode I love even more. Seriously, what did you think it was gonna be? It's Oops! It's the episode that single-handedly turned Fizz into my favorite character and Phasmodius into my favorite ship. I could go on and on about it, but I'm going to limit it to my favorite part. I love seeing how well Blitz and Fizzarolli work together. It's just so cathartic and entertaining, seeing these two lifelong rivals use their talents to save each other's skin, despite all the reasons they have to hate each other. And the resolution at the end, dang, that hit me right in the feels. Just another perfect combination of humor, action, and heart. And if the future episodes are half as good as this one, I have hope for the future of this series. Oh yeah, and Fizz's movements are so creative and well animated and really fun to look at, and Fizz and Ozzy are really wholesome, but you already knew that. So yeah, what else can I say? Helluva Boss is a great show with its fair share of ups and downs. Hate it or love it, you can't deny that a ton of passion and effort was put into making this series possible, and I can't wait to see what's next for these characters. And you can bet that when Hazbin Hotel comes out, I'll be making a video on that one too. See you in January!